5th to downtown. Eden's just a little tight inbound approaching the junction. Got Kennedy, 24 minutes O'Hare to downtown, outbound 22. Inbound Eisenhower delay start before 9th Avenue, 34 minutes, 390 to downtown, outbound 31. Inbound Stevenson, 39 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Tollway traffic still pretty light. And that's traffic. I'm Jim Calamonte on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next in our 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center. Chilly day ahead. Clouds and sun, a high of 31. 20 degrees at O'Hare. Next news at 7. And Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560 The Answer.
Listen to AM 560 The Answer online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, on your Alexa-powered smart speaker, on TuneIn, iHeart, and radio.com. Let freedom ring.
And our next guest, Scott Shellady, just tweeted out a picture. Scott the Cow Guy Shellady just tweeted out a picture of him wearing a Holstein mask.
I love it. I want one to go with the blazer that I have.
This is why he's on Fox Business, is because he leverages his brand equity to merchandise. I mean, that's the play.
Yeah.
That's the play. I don't know what I can do, but I'm going to take a page out of his book. All right, so some of the economic impacts of COVID-19 being felt, including with respect to the possibility that the Olympics in Japan will be canceled. That's a pending issue. Stories, car and driver story, coronavirus slowing China's auto market. Europe is starting to feel the effects.
And speaking of the auto market, our friend Paul Bryan just emailed me, said that Geneva International Motor Show has been canceled. Organizers wanted to go ahead with it, but the government shot it down.
Sergio Agnelli is spinning in his grave.
It's a big deal, and that's been shut down.
For more on the economic impacts of coronavirus and what they're likely to be in the coming days and weeks, we're pleased to be joined by the aforesaid Scott the Cow Guy Shellady. Scott, please take the mask off so we can hear you.
How you doing? How was yesterday at work?
It doesn't seem like the washout. It doesn't seem like the washout is over yet. What's your best prognostication?
You can't fix stupid. I mean, that's the problem. I mean, You know what, Dan? Not even, governments are people, and people overreact. But now governments
Soylent Green.
They can't even, err on the side of caution anymore. Now they have to err on the side of hysteria, right? Unless because they're worried about somebody saying that they're not doing their job. So now it has to be absolute hysteria, or you're not doing your job. So the markets are vastly oversold. Yes, we are going to have a slower growth. We're going to have some things, some points taken off of GDP. But to react to something that's a more contagious flu in this manner is absurd. But you can't get in front of it because there's so many people that are, and unfortunately there's some collateral damage, which are going to be some of those retirees that just lost 10% of what they've had in their 401ks for absolutely really no good reason. Now, the markets were overbought. Yes, we could have taken some off the top there, but the smart money's getting in. I mean, I'm just telling you right now, the smart money's getting in. So, let them do what they want to do, but this is going to create a lot of opportunity.
So,
are we heading to, I hate to say it, the R word, are we heading into a recession? Because of this,
because of the flu.
Yeah, well, the Dow falling, the Nasdaq, S&P. I mean, the worst day in history for the Dow.
Yeah, they're falling because of a virus, an overreaction to a virus. They're not falling because of an overreaction to the baseline economy. The economy will slow a little bit because people are staying in their houses. And here's another thing, right? I do have some friends that are overreacting and saying that this could be something like the Spanish flu of whatever. And my answer is this. If you really believe that, stop the lip service. Sell your house, sell all your stocks, move out to a piece of land, buy a tractor, start planting your own food, get some clean water, and a lot of guns and ammo. Because that is the proper reaction to this hysteria that we're seeing right now. Mm-hmm. Because if you don't sign up for that, then you have to have the measured, calm response of, yes, this is something that's very contagious. It's just like the flu. We will have some way to treat it in 6 weeks. We'll probably have a vaccine in a year, and relax. So those are the two sides.
With the sell-off, I mean, part of this, it seems to me, is people who've done very well over the last couple of years, and they're basically saying, I've made enough. I'm going to take my money off the table. I was looking for a reason. This is the reason. And it's people that are sort of similarly situated, just making different decisions. Other people saying, I've got a lot of money. This isn't a big deal. I'm just going to ride it out. But there's enough of those people saying, I want to take my profits and take my money off the table. That's fomenting this spiral. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, the whole movie theater is trying to get out one small door. That's it.
Yeah.
And look, we had everything priced to perfection, which is also a bad thing too. Well, not a bad thing, but that just makes things a little bit more tenuous. So we had everything priced to perfection, and then this virus opened up, and then you know what? Initially the markets took it fine, but then this last week, obviously, it's been an absolute bloodbath. And for guys in the business like myself that like to see if things open up and give us some opportunity, this is a perfect opportunity. So we could be down again today, big deal, but at the end of the day, if you would have bought the high in the market every year the last 40 years, you could retire.
What about investing in gold, and what are some stocks that we might be looking at that would be good to buy? Because I know 3M, their plant up in South Dakota, they've been working around the clock making masks to protect people. I know Peloton. People at the gym were saying, I'm just going to get a Peloton and work at home so I don't have to be around people.
Yeah. What about the market for door jams where you can put knives and other weaponry?
It's a big business.
Okay. Well, no, there's the stocks du jour that people are thinking are going to really give them a bump here because they are places that deliver to your door. You don't have to go outside. People are going to be working from home. Those will be short-lived. This will be in the rearview mirror. And I would say this: there's a lot of guys out there, and I look like a fool for a little while because I don't believe gold is a safe haven play, and a lot of folks piled into that over the last few days, and it's now starting to come off, even though the market's still coming off, because there's really only two reasons you want to own gold. It's a place to hide out your cash when we have times of inflation, and boy, oh boy, have we ever not seen inflation more than we do now, number one. And number two, it's another place to hide your capital when we might see some signs of Armageddon. Love Trump or hate Trump, we're not in the middle of any Armageddon. So if the first two things that I would say are the reasons to own gold aren't there, yeah, we had a lot of folks pile into it, but man, they're getting killed right now. The thing, if you still really want to go into something that's safe, the good old U.S. Treasury is the place to go still, and that's held up. I mean, we went under 120 this morning in the 10-year yield. So that would have been. Go ahead.
What about? So you talked about the smart money is getting in, and I got in yesterday, and I'll probably get in more today. And I'm no professional, I'm not licensed, so I can spout off like everybody else just as much as I want. But the question, the smart money getting in, when you say that, picking specific blue chip stocks with good-looking balance sheets rather than index funds. So you're getting, you're being specific and surgical rather than taking everything that may come.
Smart lazy is not specific. Smart is specific. I mean, there are some great stocks out there that have just gotten absolutely hammered for no good reason. And so if you loved them, 2 weeks ago, you got to really fall in love with them today. So those guys are going to be out there a little bit more surgically. But then there are other people that just don't have that ability to do that research, and maybe not just lazy, but they can't deploy 50 computers to find something for them. And you can just go out and buy a fund and take advantage of where the market's at right now, and that'll be okay too. It's just not going to be as surgical. So there's tons of opportunity. This is what the market really kind of needed. We were going up on hot air for a long time here, and this is, I say, a healthy thing to have happen. So it's going to create a great opportunity for most people.
Your friend Jim Urio, we had on the show yesterday, CNBC contributor, he said he supports a proposal floated by some, including former Fed Board of Governor Kevin Marsh, to have the Fed cut the rate by 1/4 point to signal everything's okay. Is that something you subscribe to as well?
No. I love Jimmy, but I don't think you should cut rates because of a virus. I mean,
okay.
Yeah. I mean, we're going to see some GDP kind of tail off here a little bit, but I would also say this. The market did the work for the president. The market's done the work for Jimmy. We saw that 10-year yield dip below 1.2% already. So it's already kind of being reflected out there as is. The only reason I would say that the Fed might want to come in and do a 1/4% cut, it's just window dressing. It's not going to. Is a 1/4% going to make a difference to anybody? It's only a psychological move. It's not really a money move. And so I tell you what, I think with what's happening in Europe, we've got tougher times around the corner. I would save those bullets.
Now, this story got completely washed away by the coronavirus hysteria, but it was interesting nonetheless because this is obviously a long-term play. Morgan Stanley moving to purchase E-Trade and looking to expand and diversify their clientele, looking for the non-multimillionaire investor. Doesn't that say something about what they think the growth potential is for the economy and for middle-income families who are desirous of investing in the market to help prepare for their retirement?
100% correct, and I had a comment on it earlier. I mean, there was a couple of people that did notice it, and it's a big deal. I mean, obviously, they've just bought themselves a lot of customers, but there has been an undercurrent in the market here for probably, I would say, the last 5 years, where we've started to see more and more of these banks like Morgan Stanley have to kind of not pander, but they've gone after the middle class and the middle age to younger millennials, because that's been a big market, and believe it or not, they're saving more than we thought they would, and also they're doing it through really not traditional manner. I mean, E-Trade's obviously going to be more traditional, but you've got robo-advisor at some places. I don't know what bank has that, but there's a lot of places you can do that just on your phone. So that market is really starting to become something that everybody's been going after, and it's been slowly but surely bubbling up. So that middle age, and then middle age to millennial is really where these big boys are really starting to focus their guns.
Now, for our doomsday preppers in the audience, those who switch back and forth between us and Alex Jones, I wanted to.
I'm getting that water bob, okay?
Yeah. No, I know.
Scott, do you know about the water bob?
No, I don't.
It's a plastic container. It fits in your bathtub, and you can fill it up with water and have 100 gallons of fresh water for up to 16 weeks. It's brilliant.
So why don't you just move to the country and get a creek with a spring-fed clear water, and then you can save all this. There'll be no problem.
Yeah, Little House on the Prairie with Amy.
Yeah, I mean, then
and
plant your own
Eli.
food becomes self. Yeah, exactly. Plant your own food becomes self.
Yes.
Well,
I mean, if everybody's going to die, that's what should happen.
Or I could go to Antarctica because it hasn't reached that
perfect.
continent.
You guys in an igloo. Yeah, and then so that simple living will allow you to push more money into the water bob and get 20x return. I'm sure.
I feel a GoFundMe page coming on.
Yeah, absolutely. Send Amy to Antarctica.
I'll go. You're buying, I'm flying. That's right. It's my motto.
I wanted to but anyway, back to the, this is a perfect segue back to the doomsday preppers. Yeah. You mentioned gold. What about cryptocurrency, notwithstanding Steven Seagal's SEC problems for pitching B2G, Bitcoin second gen?
I still subscribe to what Warren Buffett has to say. If your investment strategy is that I think the guy standing in the line behind me is going to pay more for what I'm buying today, that's not a strategy. And so I think that you've seen some money pile into Bitcoin when we do have when the markets get nervous because and some folks have tried to tell me that it's a place that money flies to quality there or flight to quality. No. You know what it is there's so many people around the world that have electronic access to our markets, and a lot of times the only things that they really have access to from India or wherever they're trading is gold and Bitcoin. And so when the world gets nervous, those are the only two ways that they can express their money, maybe in dollars somehow. And I think that a lot of that is from smaller investors around the world that make those places look like a place where you're going to see a flight to quality when it's really not. That's a false narrative.
Is the market overreacting to the potential dangers to supply chains? Tim Cook tried to signal yesterday that he was pretty optimistic that the Apple supply chain would hold. Warren Buffett earlier in the week said, he's not getting out of the market to try and also allay some hysteria. It didn't work. But what's your assessment of the market's reaction to the threat of supply chain interruptions as one of the other reasons why this has spiraled?
It's you know what, at best I think it shines a light, and you might want to say if you're the CEO, maybe we should have a disaster recovery plan or someplace else that we might want to do 10 or 15%. Maybe we don't need to be 100% reliant upon it. However, I agree with Warren Buffett, and I think that it'll all pass. It's just not going to be the dire, the world's coming to an end thing like everybody's saying it is. But I do think that you might want to think, and I think it was a good idea to say that Trump was in India, right? That could be a place where some of these supply chains move, and I'm sure that's why he was over there, kind of stoke some of that rhetoric there as well. I'm not a doomsdayer on this. I just think that people were using this as an excuse. There's some nervous traders out there. There's some people that are erring on the side of absolute hysteria, and the mainstream media kind of stokes it. When it's all said and done, a year from now, you're going to look back and go, "What was I thinking?"
Scott, the Cow Guy, Shellady, Fox Business contributor. Thanks for joining us, Scott. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Hear about the big stories of the day, then talk about them right here on Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
The Lou Dobbs Financial Report is brought to you by Signature Bank. helping local businesses succeed. Visit signaturebank.bank for your commercial banking needs.
I'm Keith Peterson for Lou Dobbs. Nestle orders its staff to avoid international travel. JetBlue is waiving change fees due to fears over coronavirus. Those stories next.
In a recent survey, investors shared what they felt were the greatest threats to their retirement. It's no surprise the most common threats include stock market volatility, economic uncertainty, conflict in the Middle East, the 2020 presidential impeachment, and election. Unfortunately, there are many threats beyond your control that can affect your retirement savings. At Goldco, a leader in precious metals, the team believes one way to protect your investment portfolio is with physical gold and silver. Goldco has helped thousands of investors safeguard their retirement, especially in times of uncertainty. In fact, if you call 855-971-2006, Goldco will send you a free 1-ounce silver American Eagle coin. And all you have to do is pay for shipping and handling. No obligation.